Hi, listeners. We want to tell you about a podcast we're really digging. It's called Christopher Kimball's Milk Street Radio. Every week, they travel the world to find the most fascinating stories about food, including children who harvest cod tongues after school in Norway and a detective who tracks down food thieves. And on Milk Street Radio, you can always find the unexpected. The comedian who ranks apples using an elaborate 100-point system, the secret history of grocery stores, and how to eat your way through Italy. They also interview the most beloved names in food like Jacques Pepin, Sola Aweli, Jose Andres, Jet Tila, Ina Garten, Nigella Lawson, and Padma Lakshmi. Plus, co-hosts Christopher Kimball and Sarah Moulton do live calls with listeners and answer their questions about ingredients, techniques, and culinary mysteries. Like, why roasting a leg of lamb made one caller's oven explode? Ever wonder why your bread won't rise or your souffle falls flat? Chris and Sarah have the answers. You'll also hear from a rotating cast of contributors, including Kenji Lopez-Alt, Cheryl Day, Dan Pashman from The Sporkful, and Alex Ainuz, a French guy cooking from YouTube. Take a listen at 177milkstreet.com/radio or just search your podcast app for Milk Street Radio. You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
Want to taste a flight of rare agave spirits at Rick Bayless's award-winning Bar Sotano? Or on La Barca Cantina, the storied taco boat touring New York's Hudson River? Or do you want to drink a special lager from the Maine Beer Company? Or how about coffee? Want to start your morning with a Mexican roast from the genius crew at Dark Matter? Well, you can do all those things and support Sacred in the process. Sacred is a not-for-profit that helps improve quality of life in the rural Mexican communities that make heritage agave spirits. We ask Mezcalerics what problems they have, what solutions they imagine to resolve those problems, and what resources they need to enact those solutions. Then we go out and try to find those resources for them. All of those businesses I just mentioned, Bar Sotano, La Barca Cantina, Maine Beer Company, and Dark Matter Coffee, all of them have special offerings on right now that support Sacred. To learn more about these supportive, creative ventures, visit sacredagave.org/fun. That's sacredagave.org/fun, because real fun is also doing real good.
Agave Road Trip. Agave Road Trip.
I am Lou Bank.
And I'm Linda Sullivan of Cena Secreto.
And this is Agave Road Trip, the critically acclaimed award-winning podcast that helps Gringx bartenders better understand agave spirits,
And rural Mexico.
I love when you take that.
I love the end.
Okay, Linda, we're going to play a little game here.
Oh, always a good time with Lou.
Okay, you ready?
As ready as I can be.
First question.
Dun, 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 dun.
Are additives allowed in tequila?
Yes.
Are additives allowed in 100% agave tequila?
Yes.
Are additives allowed in extra añejo tequila?
Gotta be yes.
Okay. Now, are additives allowed in mezcal?
Yes.
Are additives allowed in artisanal mezcal artisanal?
I hope not, but I don't know.
Are they allowed, Linda? Are they allowed in mezcal ancestral?
Again, I hope not, but I'm not sure.
Are additives allowed in sotol?
Ooh. I hope not.
Are additives,
They probably
Linda?
are.
Linda? Linda.
Lou.
Are additives allowed in raicilla? Bacanora?
It's probably
What
yes.
about posh?
Knowing
What about
you,
posh, Linda?
Knowing you, it's probably yes to all. And the point is, tequila gets the bad rap, but additives go everywhere.
No. I mean,
No.
yes and no. So the yes part is there is not a single spirit in Mexico to which you can't add additives.
It's always allowed. all the time.
Always allowed. You know how I know that?
How?
I asked the guy who used to be in charge of all the Normas in Mexico. So
The boss.
The boss. Okay, so let's run this quote that I got from our friend Alberto Esteban Marina, who was the Director General for all Normas in Mexico from 2013 to 2019. Take it away, Alberto.
Permíteme comentarte que no está prohibido.
No, it's not prohibited. In fact, all the norms regarding alcoholic beverages, say the norm 251, the 142, 06, the 70, they all comprehend the use of additives.
Todas prevén que es posible el uso de aditivos. Eso no quiere decir que si
This does not necessarily mean that the additives are used in the distillation of alcoholic beverages or in the final preparation of said beverages.
los aditivos
I believe that additives are used more in prepared beverages such as liqueurs or creams, not so much in distilled beverages, but it is not prohibited. It is possible to use them if they decide to do so in production processes or flavor design. It is very important to clarify that although they are certainly not prohibited, they do not necessarily use them.
y ciertamente no están prohibidas.
Okay, so there you go. Like literally from the horse's mouth. The guy who wrote Gnome 199, right? Destilado de Agave. It doesn't matter what it is. Actually, the funny thing is Posh isn't included in there.
How come?
I don't know. The Mexican government, for some reason, doesn't recognize Posh.
Yet.
There you go. It'll get there, and so a bunch of white people will go down there and buy brands, and then they'll recognize it. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about additives. Now, why did I bring this up? I've been seeing the whole additive-free tequila movement for years now, right?
Yeah, I feel like recently, though, there was like a new pop of it. I don't know if there were some articles that people got onto, or I feel like just in the conversation in Chicago, it's a lot louder than it was a few years ago, to me.
Yeah. So my theory is, how long ago? Like a few months or a few years?
I mean, I'm thinking probably in the last year, let's say.
In the last year, okay, sure. Yeah, I think it's become a thing in the last year for sure. But then you know about Grover and Scarlett who are behind it, and you're right. I think in fact the Mexican government and the CRT has to be behind it in crashing Grover and Scarlett's home and shutting them down and in essence scaring them out of Mexico. I think the result is that they actually brought more recognition to the whole certified additive-free tequila than was there before.
Oh, I think so too. And what ended up happening with that? Are they done?
Well, it depends. They're alive.
Well, yes.
What do you mean done?
I just mean have they ceased all their activity?
No. They're just doing it from the USA.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's still issues where if you're a tequila brand, you can't put that tequila matchmaker. That I guess we didn't say that. I didn't say that. That it's tequila matchmaker that Scarlett and Grover run, and that was also the body that was certifying additive free.
Right.
Yeah,
and for folks who are not familiar, that Tequila Matchmaker is like a resource.
Oh, it's an incredible
that
resource.
a ton of Gringex bartenders
that I use. I can't
even,
do.
Yeah, I
don't know anything about tequila.
I do too. It's great. It's sort of encyclopedic, and it has a lot of content about the production and the makers and the things you want to know. That library content, but they are very forward or loud about their additive-free position.
Yeah.
So that makes them somewhat controversial, obviously controversial to the Mexican government.
Well, I don't know about the Mexican government, certainly to the body that regulates tequila.
Right.
And I think the body that regulates tequila has some influence over the Mexican government just because of the, the economic wherewithal of tequila. But, so back to that salient point, in essence, Grover and Scarlett are now operating Tequila Matchmaker from the USA, and it's fine. They can't can't actually, well, they can certify additive-free, but none of the tequilas that are certified can put the sticker on there without, violating the rules of the CRT, the labeling rules.
Okay.
So it's kind of slowed that down in terms of notice, but what it hasn't slowed down is the conversation. And they can still certify. They can say, this tequila doesn't have additives, but they can't. Actually, yeah, well, I guess I should ask Grover and Scarlett, how do they go and check the distilleries the way they used to? But anyway, that's not the point of this. The point of this is, suddenly, as a result of all these conversations about, additive-free tequila, suddenly I'm seeing in the last few weeks popping up over and over again on the Facebook groups that make me so angry, the tequila ones and the mezcal ones, people saying, well, if you don't like additives, drink mezcal. They don't allow additives.
Ooh,
I know.
Okay, that's where your quiz Lou came in.
Exactly. Which also brought me back to a conversation I had with a bartender a beverage director in Chicago. It's funny, it just came up in my calendar, just a couple weeks ago, where he and I were having an argument in his bar back in, I want to say it was like 2017, where he had written a piece saying that the beauty of mezcal was that it was additive free in the same way that American whiskey was additive free. And American whiskey is not additive free.
In fact, there is my question immediately.
I guess that's another quiz for you. Hey, Linda, is American whiskey additive free?
I have never known it to be.
Trick question. There is no such thing as American whiskey. It's not a category. You've got bourbon, and you've got whiskey, and you've got bottled and bond, and that's it. Yeah.
True.
And I think bottled and bond, you can't have additives, but I wouldn't even swear to that. Anyway, but so, my point is that people keep trying to apply this purity test to spirits, that if there's additives, somehow they are morally bad. And it's a frustration for me. Why do you say that way? What do you mean?
Well, because the example, it's probably you that gave this example about the ketchup a long time ago, and that really gave me pause. Like, how can you go around and be the preacher of additive-free tequila, and then you pour ketchup all over your burger that has high fructose corn syrup from a highly processed, plant, and red 40 and all these kinds of... I'm going to tell you this, I was thinking this morning when I was making my coffee, my sister and I, we joke about my coffee creamer that I like, which is like the flavored kinds that they have in those little things at Cozy Corner or the diners, right? It's like a big bottle of that. And I say, do you want some cancer in your coffee? And it's probably not a great joke, but the idea is, if I'm going around preaching additive free and then I'm pouring my cutesy little French vanilla and a bunch of things, xanthan gum that I can't pronounce, whatever, is going in my coffee, how both sides of the mouth, how hypocritical. So I feel like if we've got preachers of additive free, I like to drink additive free products and I select them for myself on my own preference. And part of it is how I like mezcal and tequila in that world, because I love agave. That's what I want. I want the most artisanal. That doesn't mean it's not going to have additives, but I look and see that it doesn't. And
what do you mean you look and you see that it doesn't? How do you know?
Well, I go down there with you.
Oh. Well, but even going down there with me, visiting these producers, I don't know what they're doing between distillation and bottling. You don't know what they're doing. I
guess not, but I would hope if I ask, they won't lie to me.
I would hope if I asked, they wouldn't lie to me too. On the other hand, they'll tell me that agave took 40 years to reach maturity, but they can't tell me that they saw it 40 years ago.
Touché. I know.
And look, so this goes back to the whole, for me, the purity test. The thing, I consume a lot of additives. I know I do. And, sometimes they're okay and sometimes they're not okay. And we find out that it turns out Skittles we shouldn't be eating. Well,
Get out of here.
I know, right? But I love me some Skittles. But, the thing that I find, okay, so I find annoying the whole morals test, but the thing that I also find befuddling is, there's this law in the USA that when you sell a product for consumption, that on that packaging, it has to give you the nutrition facts and the ingredients.
Right. That's FDA, right?
Yeah, that's FDA.
Regulating that, right?
That's FDA. And yet, the only thing I think that it does not apply to is alcohol. I can't think of anything else that we consume, that we literally swallow, or, I guess you swallow a drink, that we swallow. I can't think of anything that does not have this information on it. And,
would that be true of, I think my brain is wanting to expand that to like stuff that we put on our skin. Because even though it's not going through our digestive system, we're absorbing that.
Oh, that's a
right.
fair
So
point.
like face lotions and sunscreens and stuff, I don't think they have to list.
Oh, and I guess when I buy a banana,
additives.
it doesn't say what's in it. And it doesn't have the calories.
There's not a little tag attached that says how we cultivated that edible version of a banana versus what they used to be.
But but I'll also say that I think in a way, the purpose, I believe, of these boxes with this information is to try and give people like you and I the tools to live healthier lives. But I think in doing this, we sort of, as a consuming public, make an assumption that, the information's on there, it must be okay. Like I think that if we added, if the booze companies added this box to their bottle of tequila, that we would just calm down. And we would just keep behaving the way we behave.
Well,
because
how
that's
do you
what we tend to do.
you compare that box, the nutrition facts box, to like what I would call the library labels? Do you feel like where it has? I mean, a lot of bottles have as much information as you can kind of get about how that juice got in the bottle. The mezcalero, right? The production details at all the steps, right? If it was wild or cultivated, how it was fermented, how it's distilled, blah, blah. That seems similar to me than the nutrition facts. However, those library labels, air quotes, library labels, those are not regulated. Producers put those on when they want to.
Well, yeah,
Isn't that true?
That is absolutely true.
Because a bottle doesn't have to have that in order to be certified, in order to come to the U.S. and anything.
That's right. It's not required, though. If it's bottled in Mexico, the law requires all of that information to be accurate.
Okay. So if you put it on, you can't be lying about it, but you don't have to put it on.
That is correct. That is correct. And
that
doesn't
weird to me.
That doesn't mean that nobody is lying when they put it on, and hence my fun back in May of 2020 that I'm not going to go into detail about. But the law says it has to be, which means you can hold a company accountable if they are lying on their labels.
But that's only if it's bottled in Mexico. So if there's some folks are sending their juice and having it bottled here.
Correct. Though I suspect that we've probably got the same law here. I just don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
But what I think the significant difference is, here we can see what are the calories, and then what are the. I'm looking right now at this the packaging on a chocolate bar, right? So this had 380. Did I eat all of that?
No, there's still a few calories left.
No. I mean, you didn't eat any of that, right?
No, not yet.
God, I had almost 200 calories of chocolate already.
Breakfast of champions.
Right, and then the amount of fat, so 31 grams, 40% total, saturated fat, 95% of what you should have.
Wow.
Like that kind of stuff.
That's a lot of saturated fat.
It is a lot of saturated fat, but it's cocoa butter, so it's good for you.
So it's delicious.
Yeah. But, like having this information on it, I think would be significantly different than just how it was made. And again, force anybody who is using additives to put it on there. And I think honestly, if these distilleries just put on there, we had glycerin, we had caramel coloring.
I do think that the transparency of that would bode well for them.
I think it would shut up a bunch of people, and then the people who don't care would just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's likely. The transparency means something, even if they're doing a practice that you're not a fan of. Maybe it makes it less likely or makes people less eager to hate on it. because at least they're telling the truth. They're not trying to hide anything. I think sometimes the secrecy and the hiding of things is what pisses folks off the most.
Yeah, I think it would go from anger to comedy in the same way that we all make fun of Twinkies.
Right. We're like, we know what we're eating when we open a Twinkie, and we do not care.
Yeah, give me that Twinkie.
I know what I'm pouring in my coffee, and I do not care.
I've had this Twinkie since
1980.
There you go. And it looks delicious still. Yeah.
That is. Well, you know what? There's another concept that I use a lot.
Not going to take out any ads anymore.
You did not bring Twinkies? You just mentioned Twinkies. You did not bring them to the studio? This is going to be a problem.
It's the gluten. Yeah, I know.
Looking out for number one, Lou.
Amen.
We don't care about what Linda wants.
I'm sorry. What's that down there that you're drinking?
That's not Lou brought me coffee, y'all. Okay. I can't talk out of both sides of my mouth. But one of the things that I think about when making choices for myself is I think the things that I do every day, that matters the most, right? Maybe I try to eat a healthier small breakfast, get my metabolism going, and that works for me. Maybe I try not to eat late at night. It works for me. Maybe whatever. But then every once in a while, I'm like, oh, we're at a retro party and everyone's eating Twinkies, or fill in the anything. So there's a pile of Skittles and we can all jump in it and eat them. Yes, that sounds fun and wild. I'll do that, right? So that's to the transparency point. If we know, we can make that choice for ourselves and say, hey, this is an exception. I'm cheersing with friends. I'm not going to hate on this, or I'm giving a gift to someone I know they like this. And it's not for me, but I'm down with it. I feel like the empowerment that comes from that knowledge is valuable. So whether it's don't skirt around in the dark, if you're adding glycerin to your tequila, just say so. Then the people who are down with that, those are your clients. That's your audience,
Yep. I agree.
I like the transparency point. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. My favorite part of this episode, though, Linda, I mean, besides the chocolate that I was eating, my favorite part is this is going to give me the URL, right? The web address that I can now use as the response every time somebody posts to one of these forums. I drink Mezcal because it doesn't have additives.
What's the wait, hold on, let me think. Is it going to be, I don't know. It's going to be the URL.
Title of the episode?
No, the title of the URL that you're going to buy.
The URL, it's going to be agaveroadtrip.com/S4 for season 4 -E, whatever the episode number is, -yes, -there, -is, -additives, -in, -mezcal.
Lord almighty.
Yeah. I guess it's R. There are additives in Mezcal. Sorry.
Let's get a correct grammar on our URLs.
Yeah. You are what? URL.
What you called me?
There you go. Okay, Linda, you got anything else you want to add?
No, but I am L.
You are L. I am L.
Oh.
You.
R. The new cheer for Agave Road Trip.
Okay, Linda.
Let's wrap it up.
I'll catch you next episode.
Hasta luego, El.
Hasta pronto, El. You've been listening to Agave Road Trip, the critically acclaimed award-winning podcast that helps Gringex bartenders better understand agave spirits, and rural Mexico. We're blessed with sound engineering by Roy Sierra and a theme song performed by Gabriel Oliveira and Marco Ricos. Sign up to become a road tripper and listen to more episodes at agaveroadtrip.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please let us know. And if you hated it, well, I'm sure you'll let us know that too. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Agave Road Trip. Agave Road Trip is a production of 10 Angry Pit Bulls, Inc. Agave Road Trip is powered by Simplecast. Thank you for listening to Heritage Radio Network. Heritage Radio Network is food radio supported by you. For our freshest content, subscribe to our newsletter. To subscribe to the Heritage Radio newsletter, enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with Heritage Radio Network on Instagram and Twitter at heritage_radio. You can also find Heritage Radio Network at facebook.com/Heritage Radio Network. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization using the power of education
educational storytelling about food to build a more equitable, resilient food system. Heritage Radio Network couldn't do that without support from listeners like you. Become a part of the world's most innovative community today. Subscribe to the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join the Heritage Radio Network family by becoming a member. To become a member of the Heritage Radio Network, click on the beating heart of our homepage. Heritage Radio Network can become addictive. Programming you hear on Heritage Radio Network might lead you to eat, drink, and listen to more programming on Heritage Radio Network. If you drink, please do not drink and drive. Drink responsibly, drive responsibly, eat responsibly too, and listen to Heritage Radio Network responsibly. To listen to Heritage Radio Network responsibly, wear protective earbuds. While wearing protective earbuds, do not drive, do not walk either. Sit in a comfortable chair. If that comfortable chair has a hard seat, please remember to stretch every 30 minutes. If you stretch every 30 minutes, please stay within your defined stressing capacity. And consult a doctor who specializes in stretching. If you don't have a doctor, maybe Dr. Ryan Acock, the Cocktail MD, can help you out. Thanks for listening.
Agave Road Trip out.